Welcome to From the Desk of the Mayor, and thank you NEK-TV for allowing me as the Mayor of Newport to bring information to our residents. So hello Newport, and I hope you're having a wonderful week. I hope everybody's healthy and I hope everybody's happy. So please stay safe out there. We know our city police and our fire departments are working to keep you nice and safe. Our DPW department is taking care of the snow, so we are in good hands. I want you to know that we had a council meeting yesterday and a lot of business took place. One particular item which has been worked on by myself and President Vachon, who's the council president, was securing the armory, getting into an agreement with the ROTC, and then getting their board, Attorney General, and the governor to sign off on the right for Newport to have the first right of refusal to enter into the purchase agreement. And I am pleased to say that that was approved and that the council approved that as well. This is something that is very important. You have heard our police chief on the air with me and heard him at council meetings. The situation right now where we accommodate the police department is just insufficient, and it interferes with the safety of not only the force, but of how they are able to protect the city. So this new facility, us moving forward as a city to secure that for them, will give not only the police the actual facility and ability to take care of themselves, protect the people who are possibly accused of crimes, protect themselves again during those interviews, make sure that there are classrooms and there are attorneys who have the right to interview with their clients without any interference, and also allow them to have space for impounded cars and other vehicles, as well as taking care of us. So that is phenomenal news. And thank you to the council for working so hard, and thank you for President Vachon for working so hard with me to make this happen. This has been something that I am very proud of, to have worked with President Vachon on, to make sure that during our term we got this taken care of. Also, you should know that as your mayor, I encourage training of the elected officials and department heads to help set them up for success. Community members with diverse backgrounds run with the hopes of governing our city. And right now we are in election time and debates are taking place. So the possibility, and definitely, a new council will be in place because there are seats that are open and some people who have retired, so new people will be coming in. So while these new people are tasked with navigating the complex challenges and crucial decisions that impact everyone's lives, it is also important to afford them training to improve their capability, their productivity, their performance, and their understanding of the charter and laws. So there can be a steep learning curve here, and it's caused by I'm going to say that one more time, not being familiar with the territory of local government laws and many unknown actions that could be required outside of a candidate's campaign platform. But I hope that the training process will continue with this new change of the guard, because it is very important. It makes them understand that they are transitioning out of their campaign platforms to taking charge of the city's platform and being accountable to the city. So they will now be owners of the charter and statutes, regardless of when they were elected, because we do have some members, since we have a rotating style election for our council, who are already on there. And everybody needs to stay astute and stay in touch with these trainings. having our department heads go through these trainings is very, very important. It helps with their leadership ability, and it helps with the council's comfort level, knowing that they are overseeing the department heads appropriately. Remember, it is the CEO, who is the mayor, who is charged with making sure that these department heads do their jobs. We had a city audit, which is an independent, objective examination of our city's financial records, operations, and programs. This was done by our designated independent auditor, who we appointed last year. And it is very important to understand that this is done to ensure accountability to the public and identify areas of improvement. Remember that it is management's responsibilities for the financial statements and the notes, and it is the auditor's responsibility to test. Okay, so the auditor's report comes out, and it is important for us to understand what that actually means. But it is also important for you as our citizens to not listen to those who are really not familiar with accounting principles and standards, and to just take their runoff, one-directional information, because please, this is an important report, completely definitional, and goes according to both GAAP and GAS, which are the standards and principles of accounting. The city's audit period ended June 30, 2024, and is July 1, 2023 through June 30, 2024, and that is what was completed. I was elected in August 2023, at which time there was in place an interim city manager who stayed there from June 2023 through November 2023. And there was also paired at that time a comptroller who was in place. A short 90 days after, a replacement of the interim city manager by the council took place, with a city manager who stayed on through November 2024. So at all times, there was an internal person or persons inside as well during my tenure. Remember that this audit and single audit had been ongoing for several months during the prior city manager's term. When the council voted to end the city manager's contract, the treasurer and I stepped in to find that many of the auditor's requests had not been responded to. They had not been addressed. So the treasurer and I did what we were supposed to do and worked diligently with the auditors to get them the answers that they needed, and allowed them to complete their audit timely in the time frame that they had afforded, and they actually got it done appropriately. So working with the auditors on reviewing and making changes to the historical accounting and budgeted processes that were in place, which came forward from previous years, which then affected this audited period, the council was able to take steps to move the city forward with better accounting practices and policies. This is very important because now going forward, your city is set. And then this way, it is a lot better formulated to give you more accurate information. It is also important to understand key points about a city audit. The purpose is to verify accuracy of financial statements, assess internal controls, check for compliance with laws and policies, and look at potential areas for cost savings or operational improvements. This audit that was conducted by the city's designated auditor, remember, that person is independent. It is a firm, and they are independent, and they are regulated, and they have oversight proceedings, and they have reviews. So understand that this external accounting firm is authorized to perform audits. Please remember, and this is very important, that the city actually independently assessed the city-funded programs, services, and operations, and evaluated the city's compliance with local laws and regulations and the city's charter to determine whether objectives were achieved and whether these services are being provided efficiently, effectively, and equitably. Of utmost importance, it should be noted that citizens interfering with an audit refers to a situation where individuals not officially involved in the audit process actively try to disrupt or hinder the work of auditors by attempting to influence the audit findings, assessing sensitive information through access without authorization, or creating a hostile environment that prevents auditors from conducting their work effectively. We have seen many inflammatory letters regarding what some people or one person believes to be situations, using isolated information to write these actual inflammatory letters. Well, please understand that citizens may try to influence an audit by contacting auditors directly, lobbying elected officials and internal personnel, or publicly criticizing the audit process to pressure auditors to reach a specific outcome. Depending on the circumstances, actively interfering with an audit could lead to legal repercussions, including charges of obstruction of justice or harassment. Repeatedly contacting auditors with unfounded complaints or attempting to intimidate them during the audit process is harassment of auditors. Our auditors have informed me that one citizen actually was told to cease and desist contacting them, and the details of the contacts have been turned over to the appropriate regulating authority. I want you to understand that this is not healthy. This is not good. Okay, trying to get to auditors to convince them to write findings to support inflammatory positions from somebody who has no authority and somebody who just wants to run amok with their own opinion based on isolated information that they are getting, and apparently inappropriately from personnel, which is another issue that our city council will have to deal with. But I do want you to know that the types of information received from the auditors was that there were continual calls. There was an attempt to provide information. There were statements made about collusion. This is not all right. But our auditors are astute. We have appropriately alerted regulatory authorities as to these actions. So please, pay attention to the auditors. Pay attention to those who actually have their licensed CPAs, not, quote, as this same person says, self-proclaimed. Self-proclaimed means that you alone are saying you are a CPA, which of course would be against the law. So this type of inflammatory, bizarre activity, I hope, is going to stop going forward. However, I want you to also understand that in this audit, there are various statements. There are excess of expenditures over appropriations, which is a category. Please read the notes to these financial statements. They are an integral part to the financial statements. You should understand that the excess was caused by expenditures from budgeted capital expenditures that were previously committed or signed for in previous periods. Additionally, a portion of this excess was covered by grants that were not previously budgeted for, as they were not anticipated during previous budget periods. Management discussed and made many journal entries to correct historical accounting recordings from patterns inherited on various charts of account and receivables, and moved the city's financial policies forward in accordance with accounting principles. Unrecorded receivables and other accounting areas that were not booked were actually captured and now recorded. The footnotes to these financial statements, again, which are a part of the audit, are an important integral part of this audit. I am very pleased to report that our auditor's report states, quote, "In our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, the business type activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information of the City of Newport, Vermont, as of June 30, 2024, and the respective changes in financial position, and, where applicable, cash flows thereof for the year then ended in accordance with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. Your counsel and your treasurer worked diligently with me over the past term to put in place excellent policies to advance our city and deter fraud, waste, and abuse. They made difficult decisions and difficult choices on funding policies needed to cover cash flow issues that actually caught up with this council from the historical practices and the continual kicking the can down the road over years and years and years. A grant manager has now been put in place who has diligently worked and attended to the lack of attention that was thought to have been given on grant management and has actually brought in grant funds. A new council mix is in the making. Please vote. Vote for those with institutional knowledge you want to keep. Vote for those coming in who may be the appropriate choice, but it is your vote. Watch for bandwidth. Watch for conflicts of interest. We need not to stop the good work that is going forward. I want you to also understand that new conflict of interests by the commission has come out. We have addressed it. There has been a change in the scope of addressing conflicts of interest. It establishes new duties. It contemplates municipalities actually adopting procedures for investigating and enforcing this municipal code of ethics and violations against its municipal officers. You should understand that the term municipal officer is actually defined significantly. The statute starts with a guiding principle in addressing conflicts of interest, and it provides broadly that in a municipal office's official capacity, the officer shall, not may, shall avoid any conflict of interest or the appearance of a conflict of interest. And it goes into great detail. So please, there's a lot of work to be done. Pay attention. You are the citizens of Newport. I am so proud of you. I thank you so much for always coming to my mayor's meetings, for always reaching out to me, for following the walk with the mayor, for listening to NEK-TVs from the mayor's desk. So thank you again to all who have stepped up to run. Thank you to all of the citizens of Newport for your interaction with me. You are so much appreciated, and I'm proud to have been your mayor. Thank you. Have a great week.